Hi, my name is Lucia Vera Cruz from allformoms.com, where I help moms overcome emotional eating. And in today's training video, I'm going to talk about how restricting carbohydrates may be sabotaging your weight loss. Before we dive into why this might happen, let's clarify what carbohydrates are. Carbohydrates are sugars, starches, and fiber found in fruits, vegetables, and grains. They break down into glucose, which is a main source of energy, which can be used right away or stored as fat for later use. But the fiber is an exception, as it does not provide energy directly. It feeds the good bacteria in the gut, which then produces fatty acids, which some of the cells use for energy. They are called carbohydrates because at the chemical level they contain carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen. Examples of carbohydrates are all fruits and vegetables, pasta, rice, oats, quinoa, legumes, and sweet sugary food. Not all carbs are equal. They are often referred to as simple and complex carbohydrates, or you could put them into category of whole carbohydrates, which are our fruits, vegetables, whole grains, and legumes, and refined carbohydrates like sweet, sugary food, pastries, white bread, white pasta, and white rice. I personally like to put them in a categories of low energy carbohydrates and high energy carbohydrates. So what are low energy carbohydrates? They are all of our fruits and vegetables found in nature. These are full of minerals, vitamins, and nutrients essential for our survival. And then there are the high energy carbohydrates, like all the foods in packagings in the shops, like oats, rice, quinoa, whole grains, legumes, etc. These are not considered bad or unhealthy. Some are better than others. For example, eating oats, whole grain pasta, whole grain rice, whole grain bread would be considered more nutritious than eating pastries, sugary foods, white bread, white pasta. The biggest issue that emotional eaters have when they are trying to lose weight is that they have these urges to overeat. But without these urges, they wouldn't have the need to eat an insane amount of food when they are not hungry. And in most cases, these urges start because of dieting. And often, the first thing dieters would do is cut out some macronutrients, most often carbohydrates. And it is because most emotional eaters have very similar personality traits. Often they have this all or nothing attitude, and they are being a perfectionist. And so cutting out carbs may work for some people long term, but for most people who struggle with emotional eating, binge eating, and overeating, this is not the case. It is well known that a diet low in refined carbohydrates such as sugary foods, sweets, pastries, and cakes have lots of health benefits, especially for those with existing health condition and an insulin sensitivity. When we eat carbohydrates, our blood sugar rises and our body releases insulin in order to take this glucose where it needs to go. Eating refined carbohydrates creates a rapid rise in blood sugar levels and a large amount of insulin in our body. For that reason, combining nutritious carbohydrates with proteins and healthy fats would have a better effect on the blood sugar levels. So the problem here is not the carbs, but the nutritional value of the carbs and what we eat them with. I mean, just look at the Mediterranean diet or the Japanese, which have the lowest rate of diseases, yet a diet very high in carbohydrates due to having also a lot of nutritional value in the foods that they eat them with. So it is a matter of making healthier food choices and increasing the macronutrients full of vitamins and minerals in our diet in order to support our digestion rather than allowing the carbs to be stored as fat. However, making healthier food choices is almost impossible when we are in survival mode and when we have these strong urges to overeat, especially foods high in sugar and low in nutrients. When we are in survival mode due to restriction, calorie restriction, or cutting out certain micronutrients, we are telling our brain that certain types of food will not be available for a while. And for that reason, our brain sends strong urges to look for exactly the type of food that we are trying to avoid or cut out from our diet. Thousands of years ago, when food was scarce, our brain has created these urges to eat to prompt us and motivate us to go out there, hunt and get a food. It has also given us this large appetite to eat an insane amount of food because we didn't know when our next meal will be available. Unfortunately, the brain doesn't know the difference between reality and what's in our mind. And it believes that the foods that we are trying to cut out are scarce and they won't be available for a while. So the number one step to stop the urges to overeat and to lose weight long term is to get out of survival mode. And in order to do that, we are going to have to stop restricting certain types of food, because it's like telling you don't think about the pink elephant. I mean, all you will be thinking about is the pink elephant because you don't want to think about the pink elephant. It's the same. When we are not allowed to have carbs, we want them more. However, if we say to ourselves that we can have them when we want to, we will lose the desire to have them. So instead of restricting what we cannot have, what we shouldn't have, what we need to think about, what can we add to our diet to add more nutrients, minerals and vitamins to help us feel more satisfied and nourished and give us energy and reduce the cravings, and especially to help us get out of survival mode. Cutting out the carbs may seem like a good idea at the start, especially when we see our friends losing all the large amounts of weight. And this happens because when we eat carbs, we use water to break them down. And so when they are not in our diet, the body gets rid of the excess water in our system. However, statistics show that 95% of the time, people who diet and restrict their food will gain all the weight back within the next 2 years. And in 98% cases, they gain all the weight back in the next 5 years. So dieting, restricting, and eliminating macronutrients from your diet really doesn't work long term. Other than the cravings and the urges, when we restrict any micronutrients, it occupies our mind and takes away our energy, because all we can think about and obsess about is what we are trying to avoid from having. And what do you think is more healthy? To having a balanced, nutritious diet with regular meals, not binging, or being on a strict diet for a long period of time, restricting, thinking about food all the time, and then allowing ourselves to go nuts on a cheat day or a cheat meal and eating an insane amount of food in one sitting. And if you need more help with emotional and binge eating, I have prepared a free training video with the link just below this one, where I talk about more steps on how to achieve balance and freedom from food forever. At the end of that video, you will also be able to schedule a free strategy call with me, where we can talk about your personal struggles and goals and if I can help you achieve them. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, click on the like button or share, and I will see you next time. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel for more training videos on how to overcome emotional eating and achieve balance forever.